welcome back to Liquid Pours. This is Module 2, and in Module 2 what we're going to do is a technique called a flip cup. So what we're going to be doing in the video that's following this intro is doing a technique where you fill a cup completely with different color paints and put it on the canvas and flip the cup upside down. It will make more sense once you watch the video. A couple of other pieces of equipment, if you want to call it, that I used on this video were the following. I used a spatula, it doesn't have to be this big, or a knife or something like that. And what I did this time is I actually prepped the canvas with white paint. Someone had asked if we were supposed to prep canvas. You can. It makes paint move easier rather than adhering to a dry surface. I used white paint. You can use something called gesso, which is something that the professionals use. You can also use water, but white paint is a real common thing to use by most people. I also used a straight edge of sorts, and as the canvas is being tilted and the paint is going off one side, if you like the way it looks, what you can do is you can actually hold that spatula, or that straight surface, against the side of your board and keep the paint on the canvas and keep whatever you see there on the canvas rather than sliding off. If you don't have something like that, you can use even a piece of cardboard, some kind of straight edge of any sort. I've even used my hand before just to guide paint in a certain direction. So anyways, that's basically what there is to it. Enjoy the next video. I hope you enjoyed the first one. This technique is a little bit more elaborate. You are going to be using silicone in this, and the results are beautiful. I think you'll really like it. Thanks. Okay, Module 2. Today we're going to do a technique called a flip cup acrylic pour. This time I'm going to do something a little different with the canvas. Instead of leaving it dry, I'm going to go ahead and prep it with some white paint. So I have some extra white paint here, and I have a spatula. We're going to go ahead and pour some of this on. What this is going to do is help the paint move better across the board when you put the paint on with your colors. Because it makes it slicker, rather than it adhering to something and having more friction. So let me quickly try to do that. Again, I don't want to waste time on you guys watching me do something you can sort of figure out. And again, if you need to pause the video, pause it. If I get too far ahead, and vice versa, if you already know what you're doing, fast forward through and don't get bored. Alright. I'm not going to be a perfectionist. I'm trying to show you technique. If you really want to get into this, you can get more precise of what you're doing. It's more important that you get an idea how to do it. Alright. This is not the best spatula in the world, but it will do. Okay, so it's pretty much prepped. Alright, so I'm going to take a cup that's empty, and I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to try to move this so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to pour my different colors in here. We're also going to be adding some silicone. So I want my primary color to be white. If you put white on the bottom, I'm not going to put any silicone in the white. I'm going to use a lot of white. Again, no right or wrong. Whatever color is on the bottom is going, when you flip a cup over, obviously it's going to drop through the other colors. So the white's going to be dropping through. Now the other colors I'm going to put some silicone in. And I want to tell you, as a real real habit that people want to maybe add a lot of silicone. It does not take much. And the other thing is, you probably don't want to mix it a lot, because if you mix it a lot, it's going to be sort of like oil and vinegar dressing. If you've seen somebody shake it up really hard, it ends up having all those tiny little beads of oil. If you want these cells to be big, I suggest just barely mixing it through, and you only need a couple drops. So I've gone ahead and poured the silicone in the pipette like what I gave y'all. And honestly, 2 drops is all you're going to need in each one of these, the most. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let me get the other colors. Here's another color. You can use as many colors as you want. 1, 2. There's another, here's the blue over here, different blue. And 1, 2. Okay. That's all I'm going to use. You just want to go like this, like this, like this, like this. I know it didn't seem like it would be good enough, but it seems that if you mix it too much, it doesn't turn out the same. So anyway, depends on what you're looking for. If you want lots of tiny cells, mix it up. Okay, now here's my cup that I'm going to pour into it. And so what you're going to do is you're going to color, put a little bit of each color in. Hoping you can see. Okay. I'll move this up a little bit. Make sure you're seeing what I'm doing. So I'm going to pour a little of each color in. Move this over. I want to make sure you're seeing this. I can't tell. Okay, I know you can see that. We're going to fill the cup up with paint completely. Reason being, if you leave a space and you turn this cup over, the paint's going to mix a lot different. Oh, can you tell I have cats? Where's a cat hair? Okay. You don't have to keep them in the center either. Okay. Now this will be a little messy because we don't have edges on this piece of board. Let me bring this back so we're in camera. Okay. Now, it's called a flip cup, and that is because we're going to flip the cup over and try not to make a huge mess. Okay. Now, you need to let it sit here for just a minute. because what you're doing is you're wanting this white on the top to drop through. So we got to give it just a minute so it mix through. There's going to be plenty of paint on this one. No right or wrong on how long you wait. I just wouldn't do it right away. So we've waited probably at least a minute or so. Okay. Let me see the cells forming. The cells are from the silicone, and like I said, if you don't mix it up much, they turn out bigger. Now, one thing about when you let something like this dry with this much paint on it, what you see at the end when you're done and what you see the next day when it's dry may be two different things. Because if you have it on a surface and it's drying and it's a surface that's not level, the paint's going to keep moving. And it's almost impossible to have it perfectly level. So it's going to change a little bit, even though you say, oh, I want it perfectly, just like this. It's not going to happen. Also, some people use heat guns on something like this to get the cells, and it does make them pop more. But I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible, so we're not going to use any heat gun in any of these, okay? I really don't want to get into that right now. So anyways, this is pretty much what you're going to get. All these beautiful cells. You can use as many colors as you want. You can tilt this however you want. You can drag it with your fingers like I'm doing. I really like this one. I like these colors. And there you go, guys. That is lesson 2, and that is called the flip cup technique in acrylic pouring.